It's March 2011 and this is my third annual tour of my desk. So I'm going to start with the most expensive change, which is actually hanging from my ceiling, and that's the projector. It's the BenQ W1000 Plus. It's a fantastic projector. HD, I use this thing for TV and games mainly. I'll show you a bit later exactly what it's connected to. The screen is obviously behind me, although I can't really get the whole thing in the shot at once. The cables neatly go along the ceiling then down the wall over there. Great projector, I love it. Moving down, bit of a boring shelf at the moment, there's not a lot on it. Starting at this end, a nice little fan that I think I got that from Amazon. Lamp from IKEA. We've got a speaker here, and this is actually connected to my AV receiver on the B speaker terminal along with the other speaker over there. I'll explain in detail how that works later, but basically it's a second set of speakers I can connect to the AV receiver. A random duster thing, I don't really know. Next we've got a strength ball, which is like a cheap power ball I think, but it works, which just sits there. We've got some earphones, a bundle of them and some flash drives. I should probably tidy these up, but never mind. And the other Panasonic speaker. The speakers actually came from an old DVD player which had surround sound, but of course I've replaced all of that with my AV receiver, but again I'm going to show that stuff later. This camera which I'm using is the Canon MD205. It would usually sit like here on this stand, and I use it for streaming through Firewire connected to my Mac Mini. I've got a microphone stand with my microphone on. It's not really a specific brand. If you Google what it says on the side, which is super unidirectional electric condenser microphone, you can kind of find very similar ones. So in front of the tripod we've got one of the Logitech Z4i speakers. The other one is of course at the other side over there. Great speakers connected to my iMac 2.1. The subwoofer is of course underneath. You'll see that soon. Behind that we've got another speaker. This is also connected to my AV receiver. This is obviously one of the speakers that came with it though, rather than a random Panasonic one like that. Which sits on top of my Mac Mini. Now this is, I believe, the late 2008 model. Not very powerful, but it works for streaming. I know I'm going to get people asking me why I have two computers, because I use this for streaming. I don't have a monitor connected to it anymore. I just control it over VNC. If you've ever tried streaming using CamTwist, and I use the Flash Media Live encoder, or is it Flash Live Media encoder? One of the two anyway. It uses a lot of resources. It takes up like all of the memory, CPU, etc., making the computer a bit useless to do anything else at the same time. So that's why it's useful to have two. Underneath is a USB hub. It's a Belkin one I think, of course specifically designed to sit under the Mac Mini. It's got two ports on the front and two on the back. It's a powered hub, but I don't actually have it plugged in because there's actually nothing connected to it at the moment. So next to that we've got a Parker pen and pencil. Nothing interesting there. The Dell U2410, I'll move back so you can see all of this. I absolutely love this monitor. I got it last year. I paid quite a lot because I wanted a really nice main monitor, and I haven't been disappointed with this. We've got a USB hub on the side and card reader, so it's got some nice extra features. It moves up and down, rotates, tilts, swivels in every direction. It's got plenty of inputs. I would show you, but it's kind of impossible from where it is now. But it's got HDMI, DisplayPort, 2 DVI, VGA, composite components I think. Of course the USB hub built in. There's 4 ports altogether, 2 on the side and 2 like underneath. Fantastic monitor, I really do love it. The viewing angle is brilliant on it, so much better than a cheaper LCD. So just underneath that, my iPod Touch, second generation, 8GB, in the Apple Universal Dock. Here we've got the remote controller thing from the Logitech Z4 speakers. So we've got volume, power, on off, and bass control. Then on the front we've got an audio in and out for headphones and to connect, for example, an iPod if you wanted to. So next, my main Mac is my iMac. I got this refurbished. I actually got the Dell monitor refurbished as well. I upgraded this thing to 4GB of RAM, so it's got Intel Core 2 Duo 2.13 GHz, I think. 4GB of RAM from Crucial. I have Windows 7 running on it actually in a virtual machine, which works. It's a bit slow, but never mind. At least I have access to both operating systems there. Moving on, behind my iMac, we've got a few things here. First is a Netgear gigabit switch. This is an 8-port switch. I've used 6, I think, of the ports. Briefly, what these go to, the first one is like the uplink to the next switch, and then of course the router. Got one for my iMac, one for my Mac Mini. One goes to directly to a computer in the next room. One goes to my PS3, and the odd one out, the black one, was a spare cable I had, which goes to my FreeAgent HD receiver. We've got hard drives next. They're both Western Digital hard drives. You can tell by... apparently this is Morse code on the top. I've forgotten exactly what it says, but I thought that was quite cool when I found out. Because I thought they were just vents. Obviously they are used as vents, but it says stuff as well. So this is 1 terabyte. I use this for Time Machine backups. USB 2.0 is connected by. This is the Western Digital Studio Edition 2, which is 2 terabytes. It's got 2 hard drives in RAID 0, so it makes it faster and better. This is connected through FireWire 800 to my iMac, which makes it obviously faster as well. Brilliant hard drive. It's very quiet as well. I'm sure this one is actually louder with only 1 hard drive in. And that's about it for behind the monitors. There's not a lot to look at. If we move down here, we can see that there's a huge mess of cables, but among them we've got 2 Belkin Surge Masters mounted on the wall with everything plugged in. Now the idea would be that no cables would hang down, it would look nice and neat, which kind of works for a while, but it's slowly become more messy underneath my desk and still a lot come down. The subwoofer from the Logitech speakers sits in the corner there. And moving back up to my desk, we've got the mixer next. This is the Behringer Xenix 1002. Next we've got the Apple wireless keyboard. My favourite keyboard I've ever typed on. It's a great keyboard, looks great, really thin, really light. There's nothing you can't like about it really. You get used to not having the extra keys there, because you find you don't really use them much anyway, and the ones you do use you can easily achieve by pressing FN and another key. Got the Apple wireless Magic Mouse. I wouldn't blame someone for saying they don't like the mouse, but once you get used to it, I think it's a great mouse to use. Scrolling especially, just being able to scroll anywhere. I won't touch it because it'll ruin my screensavers. Before you ask, the screensavers are from electricsheep.org. And finally we've got my phone. It's the HTC Hero. I have Android 2.2 on it now, with using Villain ROM. So that's pretty much it for my desk. I'll just give you another overall view of everything there. Of course, the projector at the top. I usually end the tour there, but today I'm going to show you a few more things. I'll briefly give you a look at my kind of AV setup and then my server setup. So over in this side of my room, I have my AV setup. On the top, of course, the TV. It's the LG M227WD, I think. 22-inch TV. It's not brilliant. I paid £150 for this. It was refurbished. It works. It's fine for what I use it for. If you want a brilliant TV, don't get this, of course I have the BenQ W1000 Plus, which I use more often. A nice array of remote controls surrounding the base there, and a Sony PS2 iToy which is connected to my Mac Mini. It goes all the way around my room. Got a hard drive here. This is connected to my FreeAgent HD receiver, which is at the bottom. This is a 250GB Seagate FreeAgent Go. I got this for free actually from Swagbucks. I'll link to Swagbucks in the description. Underneath, a bit more interesting, we've got the AV receiver and my PS3. I can't really show you the front very well, but it's an Onkyo receiver. I unboxed this shortly after Christmas. On the back, there seems to be a lot of cables, but the setup isn't too complicated. Basically, we've got PS3, and underneath we've got the FreeAgent HD receiver, which is the Humax HD Fox T2, and my PS2 underneath that. They all go into the AV receiver in various ways, and then everything comes out in HDMI and goes to, I've got 3 HDMI cables here actually. One goes to the TV, one goes to the projector, and one goes to my U2410, so I can use my monitor on my desk if I want to. And that's where the Panasonic speakers come in, the ones which are on the shelf up there. If I'm using my monitor to play a game on my PS3, for example, I don't want the audio to be like behind me, so I can switch to front speakers B, which are connected in here. You can only have stereo out of these, obviously 5.1 usually. And then there's a button on the front which you won't be able to see, but it switches to those speakers, and then I have the audio in kind of the correct place. We've got the subwoofer from the AV receiver, which is actually huge. It's bigger than a PC, which sits in the corner there. We've got this really thick speaker cable going up the wall, the Van Damme, if you can read that, Blue Series Studio Grade Classic Pro loudspeaker cable. I need to kind of sort out this at the moment because it's just hanging there looking a mess, but it goes up and along the top to the center speaker, which is mounted on the ceiling above the projector screen. We've got the left speaker mount on the wall there, and the right speaker over at that side. The final thing that people have wanted to see is my kind of server setup. So this is the HP Proliant ML115. I unboxed this about a year ago. This sits in here. It does just look like a PC. Got it connected to a monitor if I move the mouse there. You'll see it's running Windows Server 2008. Just sits at the log on screen. We've got a really old CRT connected to it because since it just sits in that state all day, it doesn't really need a monitor. At the top here, we've got the D-Link router. We've got another router for this is for the cable broadband. This is for DSL, and this is a 5-port Netgear gigabit switch, which everything's connected to get gigabit speed, because this is a bit of a rubbish router which just came for free from Virgin. Printer, it's an Epson Stylus D120 with a continuous ink flow system going on at the side there. The modem sits on top of the server, and then we've got another printer under here which is really only used for scanning things, because it's, as you can see, it's an all-in-one. We've got a Freecom 500GB hard drive here which backs up the server. The server at the moment only has one hard drive in it. I think I can install up to 4, but it's like a 160GB hard drive. It's not loads, it's practically full anyway. So that's the server setup, and that concludes this year's extended tour of my desk. While I have the opportunity, I'd just like to thank you all for watching my videos. I've recently passed 1 million total views on YouTube, according to YouTube at least, which is incredible, so thanks guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Of course you can visit my blog, jakewright.net, where you can watch my live stream and join the IRC chat room. Thanks for watching.